Physical violence on Capitol Hill. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Representative Tim Burchett, has accused former Speaker Kevin McCarthy of sucker punching him in the halls of Congress after a heated confrontation in which Burchett was seen chasing McCarthy down the hall. Burchett was on CNN just now. Let's watch.
Well, I was doing an interview with Claudia from NPR, a lovely lady, in which she was asking me a question, and at that time I got elbowed in the back, and it kind of caught me off guard because it was a clean shot to the kidneys, and I turned back, and there was Kevin, and I for a minute I was kind of, what the heck just happened? And then I chased after him. Of course, he's as I've stated many times, he's a bully with $17 million in a security detail. He's the type of guy that, when you're a kid, would throw a rock over the fence and run home and hide behind his mama's skirt. And he just, he from behind, that kind of stuff. That's not the way we handle things in East Tennessee. If we have a problem with somebody, I'm going to look them in the eye.
Tough words there. For a reporter who witnessed this interaction, while talking to Burchett after the GOP conference meeting, former Speaker McCarthy walked by with his detail, and McCarthy shoved Burchett. Burchett lunged toward me. I thought it was a joke. It was not, and a chase to confront McCarthy ensued. Burchett responded jokingly as McCarthy kept walking. "Sorry, Kevin didn't mean to elbow." Then seriously yelled, "Why'd you elbow me in the back, Kevin? Hey, Kevin, you got any guts?" McCarthy apparently denied the strike was intentional.
This is some spicy stuff. So McCarthy was in conversation with this reporter from NPR, Claudia Grisales, and then was was shoved toward her by what McCarthy did, and then Burchett chased after McCarthy. So she confirms this. I mean, she's a witness to the events. It sounds pretty hard to believe it's not exactly as her and Tim Burchett described it, frankly. Tim Burchett, of course, was one of the members of Congress who voted against Kevin McCarthy. So McCarthy doesn't like him. But to shove him in the back is a move that lacks all honor. And as Tim Burchett said, that is not how responsible adults settle their differences. And this was shameful and embarrassing on Kevin McCarthy's
a blow
part.
To the kidneys, especially given how imperiled your kidneys become when you become the age of your average senator, is really no laughing matter. I thought there might be some far-reaching implications of the famous slap between Chris Rock and Will Smith. I thought that might be evidence of the degradation of society, but I never thought it would get as far as the halls of Congress.
They should probably have to settle this with a duel or something. Obviously, the most famous example, I think, of violence in the Capitol is with the Thaddeus Stevens, and help me out, Thaddeus Stevens, Charles Sumner, pro-slavery, anti-slavery congressman. I think it was the pro-slavery congressman, right? Beat the other guy nearly to death with a cane.
That feels right.
I'm pretty sure
they love a little beating on the pro-slavery side. Yeah, look, in all seriousness,
that was brutal.
There obviously shouldn't be fisticuffs, but honestly, when you look at other governments, UK's parliament comes to mind as an example. There is a lot more open, kind of emotional volleying and aggression and expression that is common to see there as compared to our own system. I don't think that people should be manifesting their frustrations with each other, obviously, by giving each other elbow jabs in the halls. But I have, as I've argued on the show, appreciated the antagonistic factionalism that has emerged in the Republican Party, because it does show there's some life in the old girl yet. Now, if Kevin McCarthy is still bitter and angry about being ousted in the way that he was ousted, I would like to hear make some arguments about how he feels like Tim Burchett undermined his own principles. I saw some folks arguing that Burchett ostensibly didn't like McCarthy because he felt like he was spending too much. Is that really something that's changing as we're now discussing these huge multi-billion-dollar aid packages go out the door to Ukraine and Israel? Is there hypocrisy there? Well, that's something that you could talk about and lay out using your words, I'm not sure any kind of message is getting across with your elbow other than that you are bitter and maybe a sore loser.
Yeah, I should be clear. I was joking about it a little bit because it's kind of a funny thing to happen, but it's potentially not funny. You can shove someone from behind and knock them over and do them serious damage, and it's totally unacceptable to engage in physical violence, particularly not in a fair fight if you're just shoving someone from behind. This is humiliating on Kevin McCarthy's part. It's self-discrediting and makes me think even less of him than I thought of before, and I hope that all Republicans have that reaction, and everybody, frankly.
Should he be censored? As we know, Rashida Tlaib just got censored.
Frankly, this kind of action is more in line with what the censure vote, I think, was intended to do, is to punish, gross personal misconduct with ostensibly relating to your duties as it does here.
As opposed to censoring speech.
Right. So very, very bad on Kevin McCarthy. Shameful. And he deserves all criticism for this. And I'm glad we got to hear about it.
Well, this is just emerging. This is truly breaking as we're talking about it. This happened within the last hour. So to the extent that there is any follow-up, to the extent that we learn more about perhaps any rebuke against McCarthy by the Republicans, we will follow up with that with you tomorrow.
Certainly, because that does it for us today. Actually, we have some exciting news. Jill Stein will be on with us tomorrow to discuss her candidacy, her attempts to be the Green Party candidate for president.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. For those of you who like to listen while you're on the go, we're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
See you tomorrow.
Take care.
In other news, we're actually bringing back an old tradition of answering your questions in the form of Rising Ask Me Anything. This is the first I'm hearing about this. You must have made this deal while I was away. You said,
this
help Robbie with questions.
I'm just a contract employer. This was a management decision above my head.
No, we will look forward to answering your questions. Probably most of them will be about Dungeons & Dragons, I assume. We'll be doing that on YouTube Sunday mornings at 11 a.m.